Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And on this special Halloween edition of Re-Engineer Tech, we're going to be taking a look at how to upgrade your lit Halloween decorations. Recently, we went over to one of my favorite stores, Marshall's, and picked up a few Halloween decorations to help spruce up the apartment. We got these for pretty cheap. This was about $8. And these were $10 or $15. They come already assembled with the LED inside. They have a switch on the bottom with the batteries included, so you can just go and turn it on when you're ready to use it, turn it off when you're not. And they look great for what they are. Makes it festive in the apartment. But after a few days of going and turning each one of these on, and then at the end of the night going and turning each one of them off, or forgetting to turn them off a few times and finding the batteries almost dead way too soon, I thought there's got to be a better way. There's already a solution available, remote control tea lights, which I went online and was able to find for pretty cheap. So on Amazon we picked these up, a set of 12 for about $15, and what they are is similar to what we have here. Simple switch on the bottom, and all of them are controlled by the remote control, which is perfect for what we're looking to do here. That means with one button push I can turn all of these pumpkins on, and with another I can shut them all off. And we'll do that by taking the guts of these lights and putting them on the inside where the original lights exist. So with that all ironed out, let's go to our bench and start our work. Now that we're at our bench, we've got our remote controlled tea light, and then we have our pumpkins. Let's see if we can fit any of these direct. Now that's still going to be bigger than that. It's also bigger than that. So we are going to have to take this housing off in order to fit it inside of these. Now get this out of the bottom. As you can see, the hot glue is right there. If I go in, there we go. This pops right out, leaving me with just the shell, which is what I want. And then this part we can just get rid of. So this doesn't have flicker on it or anything like that. We want all of the hot glue out of the cutout, and ideally you want it off the sides as well, just so you have a nice clean surface to work with and add your own adhesives. Alright, so now that we have that clean, we can take our light, disassemble it. So this is just press fit into the bottom. And what we're going to do is release that by just pulling the body away, because we don't care what happens to this housing, since it's going to be going away. Now that we have access here, we can go in with our straight slot screwdriver and pry it free. That gets us our circuitry. We can get rid of this. We take a look at the opening here that's all cleaned up now and see if it will fit. It won't fit. It actually looks like we're going to have to get rid of this switch here, which is fine because the remote control will still be able to turn this on and off, and when I go to store this between each Halloween, I can just take out the batteries. Let's heat up our soldering iron, and we'll put that at about 300 degrees, a little higher than a low temp solder. And that should loosen these up. One of the things to note here is that it looks like this piece of wire is soldered through an eye hole on the switch. So we're not going to be able to just heat it up and pull it away. We're going to need to remove that solder or make the switch mobile. I happen to have a solder vac, which is just a plunger that when you hit the button, it pulls the solder, melted solder, away from the joint, and that should do the trick for this. If you don't, you're just going to have to hold on to it maybe with some magic fingers and pull the piece apart yourself. These aren't too expensive. They're about 10 bucks. For the big one, it's almost 20. Well, while we're waiting for the soldering iron to warm up, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this, and I can see that the negative contact for the battery is this flange here. And so if I bridge this wire past this right onto that contact, it will complete the circuit without needing the switch anymore. It's starting to warm up. Put this right next. Looks like it's free already. So to free this switch, we're just going to take our pliers. Oh, it looks like the switch kind of disintegrated on us there. You can do that if you've applied too much heat to an object. Ow, that's still a little hot, so be careful. And then using the solder that was actually already on this flange, we're going to resolder these pieces together. It is now soldered together, as you can see. We have our IR receiver over here and the flashing circuitry there. To make this work, we're probably going to have to remove all this extra plastic because, as you can see, this is way bigger, but the battery container itself should fit in. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you leave this skirt here, the brim, and just remove the parts that stick up, because what we don't want to have happen is have this just fall into the pumpkin. So now take our Dremel along with our safety glasses. We're going to be using a router bit for this. You can use a grinding bit on it, but that tends to gum up if you go too fast with plastic. Let's get to it. You might also want to wear hearing protection. So now we're left with just this part. So let's do a fit check. Take a look at this. Tuck that in there, and it fits nicely. Should be able to also fit the battery door on this if needed. Okay, so what we're going to do is then just take this battery door clip and just pull it up. So now we're going to go in with some hot glue and hot glue this in place. I'm using low temp glue, and we're going to basically just add just a few dots, nothing crazy, just enough to hold this in place. There we go. Let that cool, and then we can put the battery back in. And just to show you that this process is going to be the same no matter what pumpkin you have, as long as it's like an LED decoration, should be the same. So we're going to go flip this over and just go in with our straight slot screwdriver. Just pry that take that out. Normally you'll do this with the light off. And this looks like it's going to be a little bit small. So to check that, we're just going to take our battery out and it passes through. So then that means we have enough space for at least the battery. And since it's moving around so much, it means we'll also have room for the battery compartment. And then we will rinse and repeat by removing the outer casing, removing the switch, shorting the section that went across the switch, and then grinding away any extra plastic and hot gluing it into here. I'm gonna go and finish the last pumpkins up, and we'll rejoin you for a recap after all of this is done. All right, so now that we're done with this project and you've had a chance to see these decorations in action around the apartment, I think we can say that this is pretty much a success. Yeah, it was a little bit expensive up front, with it being $25, $30 for the 3 pumpkins and this larger pumpkin along with the lights, but we ended up with more lights than we needed, so we can use these in other decorations as well, like I did with this glass pumpkin here. Now I can control extra things around the apartment as needed. You can also use some of the extra lights in your actual carved pumpkin as a safe alternative to candles and an easy way of going out there and just turning them on. If you want to be able to hit it without going outside, you will have to put a hole in the back of the pumpkin. As you can see, the infrared light just doesn't get through that pumpkin skin. Easy fix. Anyways, if you liked what you saw, please leave a like. If you happen to have any questions or comments about what we did here, leave it right down below. I love talking to you guys about new ideas or how you can adapt this to what you're doing in your build. And as always, subscribe so you can keep up with our new content. I'll be doing how to fix a USB problem with your mouse in the near future. Have a great Halloween, guys, and thanks for joining us.